Katie here, your vlogger. Today I'm going to talk about something that's really important to me, and that is being a vegetarian. I started being a vegetarian probably about a year and a half ago. I took this food safety class, and we learned all this stuff and read this book called Food Revolution. I think it's by Robert, let me see. Let me look that up real quick. Actually, Google.com. Food Revolution. Author. John Robbins, so not even close, not Robert. So anyway, Food Revolution by John Robbins. He's actually one of the kids of the Baskin Robbins people, so that's kind of interesting that he does all this health stuff now. Anyway, he wrote this book called Food Revolution. Totally changed my mind about eating animals. So they're just people are just hey, why are you vegetarian? So one of my big reasons for being a vegetarian are the health factors about it. I know some of the three or a couple big ones, big health risks with eating meat are increased cholesterol, bad cholesterol. I mean, there's good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol, but eating meat increases your bad cholesterol, which is bad for you. And eating meat also increases your risk of cardiovascular disease, which is heart attack, and it's also linked to certain cancers. I know the big one is colon cancer, which is an awful cancer to get, as all cancers are, and a new study is lymph node cancer, so those are linked to eating meat. I've got a couple other ones. I mean, my professor for that class, she challenged me, and she's like, I know you're interested in being a vegetarian, so why don't you try it out? And she's like, well, give me a good reason. She's like, well, it actually increases your energy levels. And I didn't really believe her, but she was right. I have more energy in the morning, and I just feel like I can go further in my day without getting tired or exhausted or whatever. So those are my health reasons for not eating meat. So another reason I have for being a vegetarianism is with the health risks that eating a lot of meat has. I also don't like how animals are raised. A lot of big companies raise their animals in really inhumane environments. And I'm not saying that, you should, pamper them and give them little beds and chocolate, and animals don't eat chocolate. But, I'm not saying you should give them a luxury lifestyle, but I believe there's a difference between raising animals humanely and inhumanely. And a lot of those lots, meat used to be a lot healthier to eat before these big lots would just mass produce them. The reason we have to cook so carefully now, with the eggs and the meat, is because they're just so full of disease, these carcasses that are slaughtered. They're so full of disease, they're so full of chemicals, it's just unsafe products. So one of my reasons is I don't want to support companies that are going to be inhumane to their animals, and that the FDA, it's just too big of a business for the FDA to regulate. So they say it's regulated, but really it's not. So that's another one of my reasons, inhumane animal conditions. Also, a lot of children get these foodborne illnesses, and they don't survive. A lot of children die because when they eat tainted food, they don't have as good of an immune system as adults do, so they have a really hard time surviving major foodborne illnesses. And I just feel like the companies don't give a shit. They don't care at all that these children are dying because they won't regulate their processes. They won't have healthy animal raising processes, and they won't have clean animal raising processes and animal slaughtering processes. And because they're not doing what they need to do, and they're just out there to make a bunch of money, children are getting sick and children are dying. And parents are going to these companies and being look what happened. And yeah, sure, parents can sue and get $1 million, but $1 million is not going to replace the fact that your kid is dead because a company didn't do what it was supposed to do. So that's another big thing. I love kids. I'm sure I will talk about kids a lot, and I want to have kids, I want to be a mom, I do, and it just makes me so angry that these companies don't give a shit about the kids that die because they won't regulate their products. So that's another big reason for me. So yeah, those are my major three, the health reasons, the inhumane, raising and slaughtering of animals, and the effect it has on children. I've done a lot of research on it, I've taken a class, I have a lot of knowledge about it, so that's why I've chosen to be vegetarian. I'm not saying that you should go out, like, I'm not saying that meat eaters are bad. I mean, you're not bad. If you want to eat meat in front of me, that's fine. I'm not going to push my beliefs down your throat and be like, hey, you're bad for eating meat, because you're not. Just like I'm not bad for being a vegetarian. I just think these are things that people ask me why, and so I'm giving my explanation about why I'm a vegetarian, and it is a lifestyle to consider. Well, I'm not saying to go out and be a vegetarian. I'm not. People can minimize their intake of meat, and that's perfectly good. Vegetarianism isn't for everyone. It was pretty easy for me because I was a huge meat eater anyway. Like, as I got older, I never really liked pork chop. It was just something I didn't like to eat. And I stopped really liking bacon. I know, I stopped liking bacon. It's crazy. But yeah, large amounts of bacon. I did like a strip and it was fine, but I was just like, I didn't crave bacon like many people do. And I understand bacon's like a wonderful food. But yeah, I just stopped liking bacon really. And I was never really a huge like steak or hamburger person. Like beef, whatever. Like, it was really easy to give up beef and pork. I think the hardest part was definitely chicken. I love chicken nuggets, especially like dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. Those are so cool. I really miss chicken. I miss meatloaf and beef jerky, definitely. But true vegetarian, because I don't eat, like, no meat. I'm technically a pescatarian, but just a pescatarian is a vegetarian that eats seafood, and it's just easier for me to say I'm a vegetarian that eats seafood than it is for me to say I'm a pescatarian or pescatarian, because there's like so many different ways to say it, and then nobody knows what you're talking about, and you're just all like, I'm a vegetarian that eats seafood. Because come on, sushi is delicious, and tuna fish, I love tuna fish. I could never give up sushi, or crawfish, or crabs, or lobster. Like, I couldn't, ever. And I do consider alligator, seafood. I know technically it's more like of a chickeny meat, but on my book, totally seafood, because it lives in the water part-time. So yeah, totally counts. But then if I like count alligator as seafood, would I also count hippopotamus as seafood? But I don't think I'm ever gonna eat hippopotamus, so I don't think that's like a huge concern. But if I was gonna eat hippopotamus, would I consider it like meat, or would I consider it seafood, going by like my alligator guidelines? Because hippopotamus also live in the water a lot, like spend a lot of time in the water, but that doesn't make them like a seafood animal. So yeah, my scale's a little skewed, but alligator's delicious, so I'm not giving that up anytime soon. But anyway, those are my reasons for being a vegetarian. If you want to look into it, they've got tons of books on it, tons of research material. Just like do your research and see what reasons fit for you. And if you want to be a vegetarian, try it. Don't like go cold turkey all at once. My suggestion is to try like cutting out meat like once, like just doing like once a day or once a week or once a month, and then you can like slowly like cut it out, or you can cut out different things. Be like, okay, no more beef, and then no more pork, and then no more chicken. Like, just cut out different things, and then once you get used to it, it just becomes norm. I mean, I rarely have trouble finding food to eat. I eat salads, I eat sandwiches, I eat lots of pasta and cheese. So much pasta. I can never be vegan because dairy is delicious. I mean, cheese, chocolate milk, ice cream. Do I need to give other examples? It's just, dairy makes life delicious. But yeah, so those are my reasons. Maybe you'll find yours, or maybe you'll just minimize your intake of meat, or just choose to support people who raise their animals humanely, raise their animals, natural. I mean, natural and organic are really loose terms because they're not really defined very well, so anybody can slap on an organic or natural label and you don't really know what it means. But definitely look for people who have good practices with their animals. That's my spiel about being vegetarian. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And until then, have fun eating meat, or have fun not eating meat, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to judge you. Don't judge me. Thanks.